First, let's pay homage to the lineage gurus. To the Venerable Mang Liao Ming, to Master Sakya Zengkung, homage to the 16th Dharma King Karmapa, and homage to Master Dukten Dorji. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. Homage to the main deity of the group practice today, Amitabha Tathagata of the Western Paradise. The Tathagata with infinite light and infinite life, and homage to the greatly compassionate Guanyin Bodhisattva, and homage to the Mahatstamaprapta Bodhisattva with great wisdom. 四人 all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, temple directors, and all disciples present here and over the internet, and our participating VIPs from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Taiwan, Secretary General Daniel Liao's wife, Dharma Sister Judy. Accountant to the True Buddha Foundation, Dharma Sister Teresa. From the CTI-TV Taiwan, producers for the Geli Gensang Sinton, Dharma Sister Rebecca Xiaqi. Dr. Ryan Zong, Dr. Dzogchen, from the Sunny Line Dancers, Dharma Sister Chu Huili, and Dharma Sister Lin Yixin. And entrepreneur from Hong Kong, Datuk Kenneth Loy and family. And from Tonghu University of Taiwan, Professor Lu Wenxiang, and also attorney-in-law. Good evening, everybody. How are you? In Cantonese. We also have a lot of people from Indonesia. Selamat malam. Today we practice Amitabha as the main deity, and I remember my guru, Venerable Mang Liao Ming. The Venerable Liao Ming's master is Master Nona, and someone asked him, what is the greatest Dharma in Tantrayana? And Master Nona said, it's the Amitabha great Dharma. So that refers to the Dharma practice of Amitabha Buddha. So in Mahayana Buddhism, Amitabha Buddha, we could say that he is the patriarch of the Pure Land school. And the Pure Land school focus on deciding the name or the epithet of Amitabha Buddha. And when we chant Amitabha, sometimes 4 syllables or 6 syllables.
Namo Amitabha. Namo Amitabha. Namo Amitabha. Namo Amitabha. Namo Amitabha. 它这个是6日佛。那么以前我们在佛教联诵
Amitabha in 6 syllables. And then in the Pure Land school led by Lidinan, is chanted this way. That's a 4-syllable chanting method. And in Pure Land, primarily, is still in chanting the Buddha Amitabha's name. In Taiwan, we have lots of Zen temples, but they actually sometimes inside the Zen temples there is no Zen. Instead, they also chant Buddha's name, which means Buddha Amitabha's name. So Zen Buddhism and the Pure Land school are 2 different schools, but in Taiwan, we are combined into one. So even the Zen temples also chant Amitabha Buddha. So when someone says Zen temple, is there Zen inside the Zen temple? Not necessarily. So what do? They also chant Buddha Amitabha. My residence in the past was next to the Taoist master Ling Shen, and he's one of the guru that I took refuge in. And he was not from the Pure Land school, he was from the 3 Wheels school. The 3 treatises, the 3 treatises of Nagarjuna. So the white treatise, the 12th treatise, and another treatise combined into 3 treatises. So actually that's talking about emptiness. So they don't seek after anything, they just talk about emptiness. So I took refuge in the Taoist master Ling Shen. And in Taipei, he had the center in Jiayi, Miao in Jinse, in Taichung, Miao in Jinse. That's next to my house, with the same wall, the other side of the wall. So Hua in Jinse, the center, although the Taoist master Ling Shen is the 3 treatises, the nuns of that center also perform the morning ritual. The same, they also chant Amitabha Buddha. And the Pure Land school specializes in chanting Amitabha Buddha. And actually, all the Buddhists around the world would greet each other with Amitabha. But in the movies, they would chant it as Amitabha in the movies. But actually, it should be A. Because A would be closer to the Sanskrit syllables, like A from the A. So it should be chanted as Amitabha and not Omitaba, because the Omitaba is from the movies. But there's still lots of monks from China would say Omitaba. And the Taoist masters would recite the Buddha with infinite life. So those wearing the Taoist hats or robe of Pakwa or with the duster. So actually the Buddha with infinite life, that's Amitabha Buddha. Buddha of infinite life, also Amitabha. So Master Lonam said that the greatest Dharma is Amitabha Dharma. Why? Because in my opinion it is suited for all sentient beings. Whether you have the highest wisdom or strong spiritual roots or mediocre spiritual roots or the lower spiritual roots, they're all the same. Whether you are of the highest spiritual roots with the greatest wisdom or mediocre spiritual roots with mediocre wisdom or low spiritual roots with really no wisdom, if they all recite Amitabha's heart mantra, they all would be reborn into the Amitabha's Buddha land. Then your wisdom would blossom. So that all Buddha lands, that all the treasure mountains with the Bodhi trees, then the wisdom flowers would naturally blossom. So with the Bodhi trees, we all generate bodhicitta. And when you get to the Western paradise, the most well-known Western paradise, and with the most famous Amitabha, so they deliver all, whether they are of the high, medium, or low spiritual roots. So that's the realm of Amitabha Buddha. So Master Rona said, what is the greatest tantric dharma? And he said, is Amitabha Dharma, the great dharma of Amitabha. That's what my master said. So Amitabha Dharma is great dharma. And I personally, when my divine eye was open, I met Golden Mother, Amitabha Buddha, and Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva. So the first Buddha that I met, the first Tathagata that I met was Amitabha. And the most vivid vision that I had of Amitabha was only of his foot and lotus. And that was already so incredible. When I was flying from Beijing to Taiyuan in mainland China, I saw the lotus throne of Amitabha Buddha and his 10 toes. And then when I look up, his body, just seeing his toes was just so admirable, so incredible. It's not like the typical toes. Very perfect, very beautiful. And the lotus was really bright and brilliant and radiant with tons of auspicious lights, auspicious rays. Very supreme, very beautiful. It's really unforgettable. It's the same with the medicine Buddha. When I saw medicine Buddha, it's the same. It was unforgettable. So the Amitabha that I saw from Beijing to Taoyuan is always in my impression. It left a strong impression. And the Kuan Yin Bodhisattva that I saw was, oh wow, so beautiful. And she turned her face and smiled. She walked in front of me and I saw her back. And then she turned around and took a look, and Amitabha. I was totally dumbfounded. I was out of my mind, out of my body. Wow. And then immediately I called Master Changren of Hong Kong, of the 10 directional chapter there. I asked him to sculpt a young Golden Mother statue. A few days ago, when I gave blessings on the heads, it was the young Golden Mother that came. So I said, Master Changren must have almost complete. He must almost complete the young Golden Mother from mainland China, and he appeared in Seattle from mainland China. He appeared in front of me before I give blessings on the heads. And this Golden Mother in Seattle was dignified, beautiful, and very elegant. So, and she is rather very appealing, very attractive. But the Golden Mother at the Taiwan Lizang Temple was like my mom. Oh, I'm scared of her. She could become very fierce. My mother, my father was the most fierce, and my mom was second fierce. So I asked Master Changren to please sculpt a young Golden Mother that looks very lovely and amiable, very close, young and beautiful. Then I would feel at peace. So Kuan Yin Bodhisattva was also very dignified, very beautiful. The ones that I saw, also Mahastama Prapta. She was holding a bud, a lotus bud, and Kuan Yin Bodhisattva was holding a nectar vase and the willow branch to sprinkle the pure water upon sentient beings. And Amitabha Buddha was the Buddha who specially guides sentient beings to Pure Land, and the fearless mudra and the bestowing mudra. To guide the sentient beings to the Pure Lands. So that's my simple introduction of Amitabha. Because in the Buddhist world, nobody would not know about Amitabha. So that's why we say that there would be Amitabha at every house and Kuan Yin at every household. And his Dharma would be available for all sentient beings. You just recite his name or recite his heart mantra, and in Tantrayana you can also visualize him. Be mindful of Amitabha. And with the union of the three, and at the time of death, you would be focused and be mindful of Amitabha Buddha, and he would definitely appear. Then he would deliver you and guide you onto the lotus throne and to be guided into the Western paradise. And when you get to the Western paradise, you would get whatever Dharma you want. If you want to attain Buddhahood, you can attain Buddhahood, because that's a non-returning realm, which means you will never fall into the three lower realms. So that would be the best place. That if you cultivate spiritually there, you would have attainments naturally. Today we will continue, and let me read a piece of the book. When I attained Trekcho, also called cutting thoroughly, immediately, cutting immediately. Right then and there, I entered into a realm of boundless light. And where is the realm of boundless light? Oh my God, what a coincidence, because that's the realm of Amitabha Buddha. It's called the boundless light and infinite life. In this inconceivable state, I discern 12 kinds of lights. And all these lights are the epithets of Amitabha Buddha. Immeasurable light, boundless light, unhindered light, unpaired light, king of blazing light, pure light, joyous light, wisdom light, unbroken light, unfathomable light, unnamed light, and surpassing sun and moonlight. So these 12 lights are all epithets for Amitabha Buddha. And today, the main deity was Amitabha. And we came to this article about the 12 epithets of Amitabha Buddha of the Western paradise. See, what a coincidence. So this is called a yogic response. So talking about the great perfection Dharma of Tantrayana, it comes to this, that we practice Amitabha Buddha and we talk about the 12 epithets of Amitabha Buddha. So this is the spiritual response, or yogic response. It's beyond words. Don't you think it's a coincidence? Talking about coincidence, 真列在前, 领病斗者列正戒在前, is the 9-syllable mantra. And in the sky, it appeared the 4 verticals and 5 horizontal lines made of clouds in the sky. I was transmitting this 9-syllable mantra, and in the sky there were the 4 vertical lines and 5 horizontal lines, which is a symbol of it in the sky. And in Taiwan, when I was about to give the Dharma teachings of the Platform Sutra of the 6th Patriarch, and there were 6 footsteps appeared in the sky. That's also a coincidence. How could it be such a coincidence? So even doesn't matter how, it's still matching. What a coincidence. There are lots of miraculous events. And then one day I said, well, the clouds are all gray, the shades of gray and black, and the whole sky. So I took a brush and I said, well, let me paint something. And the whole universe is like a canvas. And there were shades of black inks. And then I just swept my brush a few times, and everybody saw that. And there were red lights and colors started to appear. Well, how about now? Can you do that again? No, because when you do it intentionally, they would not happen. But if you do it without any motives at all, then it would happen. If you do things with motives, then things will not happen accordingly. So when you try to paint with intention, you can't, but when you just do it naturally, it all happens. So when you do it with no hearts, no motives, with no intentions, then things would occur, would happen. So, but if you do it with intention, then it does not happen. So the 12 kinds of lights, the immeasurable light, boundless light, unhindered light, and I also talk about the concept of unobstructed philosophy and unpaired light. What is that? With no opposites, no relatives. But in the world, everything has opposites. Do you believe it? If there's a man, there would be a woman. When there's heaven, there would be earth. There's black, there's white. There's right, there's wrong. When there's true, there's false. Everything is opposites. So it mentioned here about the unpaired light. Now I want to talk about this. Enlightenment too is an unpaired light. It has no relative to it. It has no opposite. Only then it would call enlightenment. Anything that has the opposite, it's not enlightenment. So what is enlightenment? Ponder upon it. When it is unpaired. So the light of enlightenment is also called the unpaired light. Everything is the same. All the same, and everybody is the same. Everybody will die. There is no the so-called life and death. When the unpaired light appeared, there is no life and death. Everything has life and death. A house, doesn't matter how long it lasts, one day it would age and destroyed, and it would be gone. So metal like cars, they're all made of metals. But after a long period of time, cars will also die. How about Earth? Earth will not die, right? Well, but Earth can die because of all the fertilizers and insecticides and pesticides. It's not organic anymore, they're dead. So now they become inorganic. So like after the atomic bomb, the Earth is dead. It will wait for many years before it grows again. It comes to life again. So all living things will die. One thing will never die, and that is the unpaired light. One day, the young couple was arguing, and the husband left a note. The world is huge, and I want to go see the world. So the husband left the home, like Sakyamuni Buddha. Sakyamuni Buddha also left his house, his home. And the wife sent a text to him. There are lots of men around, and I want to try them. In less than an hour, the husband was back. So man and woman are opposites. And you use force to bind them with ties. That's called marriage certificate. It's like a rope binding them. You know, I said this before, it's like chewing on the sugar cane. In the beginning, oh, it's so sweet. And after you chew for a while, it became it just became you cannot spit it out, but you cannot leave it there in your mouth, and it would get stuck in the throat. I cannot talk about myself. See, the old Bodhisattva here was nodding his head, her head. Were you in love when you were young? How about now? No, no more. So the old Bodhisattva admitted it. Now it's like the breath of the sugar cane. In the beginning, it was sweet. The same with bubble gum. So after you chew on the bubble gum, do you want to swallow? Swallow it, the gum? No. You spit it out. But you need to spit it into a safe place. You cannot just spit it as you like because of the environment. These are all relatives or opposites. But this of this kind, one is unhindered and one is unimpaired. And unhindered, that's also forever. Unimpaired, that's also eternal, because that's like unimpaired, meaning absolute. So tomorrow we have the Homa for the red wealth god. So it's up to you whether you want to become primary supplicants. If you don't love money, if you don't like money, then you don't need to become primary supplicants. So if you feel that I don't like money, then you don't need to become primary supplicants. It is best if everybody become the primary supplicants. This is just for laugh. Seeing you, my heart beats fast. Touching you, I want to jump. Losing you, I cannot sleep. Getting you, I still want it, no matter how tired I am. Without you, life is boring. But don't laugh. What I'm talking about is money. You means money, so you must want it too. Wish you be happy. If you want money, you get money. Tomorrow, remember to become the primary supplicant for Homa. Although we say that money is poison. One day, Sakyamuni Buddha brought his disciples to go on a field trip, and they came across a treasure of gold inside the woods. And when Sakyamuni Buddha saw that, he said, "This is a dangerous thing. This is a poisonous snake. Don't touch it." And the disciples was drooling over it. And because Buddha said it was poisonous snake, they followed the Buddha. And there was a fisherman rowing the boat and saw that a chest of gold and brought it back home. And he thought, wow, he's rich now. So he brought the title, slaves, land, and farms, animals, and he became really rich. So he almost used up the gold, and then when he took it out, there was a mark on the gold bar, and the mark showed that the gold belonged to like the country bank that was stolen by some people and placed it there. And he was reported to the authorities, and finally he was caught and executed. So his title, land, slaves, everything was gone. Everything was gone. Money is neutral. It depends how the person uses it. If it is used for good things, then it is good. If it's used for bad things, then it is bad. Money is neutral. If it's used for good things, then it would be good. If it's used for bad things, then it would be bad. So money is also not absolute. So talking about the unpaid light. Someone fish for over 6 months, and the fish grew beautifully and healthy, but the fish all of a sudden died, and the owner got attached to the fish, and he felt sad, and he wanted to conduct a grand funeral for the fish. If the fish is buried on the ground, he was scared that the cat would get to it. So he thought maybe the fish should be cremated. So he prepared a stove, and during the cremation, it smelled so good. So finally, he did burial by eating it. So this means. So it is unavoidable for a person to be tempted. So you need to free yourself of temptations. Look at the sky. Like today, we have is a clear blue sky. Ever since I said that, clear blue sky and a calm ocean. A moon is arising on the horizon from the ocean. At the center of the moon is the sixth syllable revolving, and the main deity appears. This is called the three-step Dharmakaya emergence. Clear blue sky, calm ocean, a moon is arising from the ocean. The sixth syllable on the moon is revolving to become the deity appearing. The three-step Dharmakaya emergence. Ever since I said that, now the visualization has changed. Because before, we always had the moon disc rising from the ocean and the sixth syllable evolving to become deity. And then after I said that, the visualization has changed, but today's visualization is both right and wrong. Why? Because you didn't use the sixth syllable. Because you need to have the on the scenario. So you have to start from the sixth syllable, because without the sixth syllable, the main deity will not appear. Or a sixth syllable appearing in the heart of the practitioner, sit, that emit light to the sky, and then Amitabha would appear from the sixth syllable. So you cannot just make up the visualization as you like. And then without the sixth syllable, the main deity appeared. That's not right. So in Tantric Dharma, you need to have three-step Dharmakaya emergence. So if you have the three-step Dharmakaya emergence, doesn't matter how you visualize it, it's okay. But you have to have the three steps emergence. Otherwise, that's not right visualization. Actually, the foreigners, but in America, we are the foreigners. So the white people like the shit word or syllable. Let me share a joke. A minister played the golf, and the ball falls very far from the hole. And then he said, shit. because he missed the hall. And there was a nun next to him. There was the father, Catholic father. And the nun said, "Oh, you should not curse." And the father ignored her and hit the second ball. And the ball got to the water. And then he said, "Shit," again. And then the nun told him, "Father, you should not curse, otherwise the thunder would strike you." And immediately the thunder sounded. Oh, and with the thunderbolt, and hit the nun, struck the nun. And the father, "Oh, what happened?" And then God said, "Shit, I missed." So nothing is absolute, nothing is guaranteed. Sometimes you would miss. So for human beings, nothing is absolute. But for the ultimate truth, it's unpaired light. It's not straight or crooked. It's not, and it's not true or false. So that's why I often ask you, on the moon, is there Buddha? Please answer. There are no human beings on the moon, so how could there be Buddha Dharma? What is the Buddha Dharma for? So let me ask you, so what is eating meat or eating vegetarian on the moon? So you think that by being a vegetarian, because I'm a Buddhist, that they asked me to become vegetarian. But on the moon, what is the difference between eating meat or eating vegetarian? And what is good and what is bad on the moon? If there are no human beings, is there anything good or bad that we can talk about? So all the ultimate truth is unpaired light. It's absolute. It's not something like the thunder that miss, that whether it hits or miss, or that your words are the truth, or dirty words. Dirty words in Chinese sound like 脏话, which is also the name of a city in Taiwan. You know, the place for Master Lian Ji is called 脏话, which means dirty words, and 八卦 is a rumor. And then Master Lian Ji's temple, Lizang temple's neighbor is a pig farm. So it's like, so he lives in that, next to the pig stall, in the city of dirty words and mountains of rumors. We often refer to him like that, Master Lian Ji. But the unpaired light is absolute. And the moon is also the world of absolute. If you think this way, then you're close to enlightenment. So is there anything that would harm you on the moon? What is good, what is bad, what is virtuous or non-virtuous, what is man, what is woman, what is eating meat or eating vegetarian? None of those exists on the moon. This joke may not be so funny. While eating lunch, a female co-worker told me with cares, please take good care of your health. And I asked why all of a sudden you said that. And the female co-worker said, because you don't drink much water. And I said, how come, how do you know? Because you didn't even go to the bathroom for the whole morning. And I was curious, how did you know? And she was very serious and said, ever since I saw you, ever since I saw you this morning, your flyer is still open. So from morning until noon, it's still like that. It's still open. So you must have not been to the bathroom. So this is pairing. So you zip it up or zip it down. I've told this joke before. A husband getting home from work, there's a slap mark on this cheek and also on the other cheek. And the wife asks him, what happened? Who slapped you on both cheeks? And then he said, he was on the bus and it was very crowded. There was a lady in front of him and the zipper was open quite low on her chest. And those two boobs were almost uncovered. It was right in front of him, close. It's close to his nose. So with good intention, he zipped up the zipper a little bit. So she slapped him. So he thought, oh well, she didn't like that, so he pulled it back down. So she slapped him again. So zipping up or zipping down, both not accepted. So, let me tell you, it's best if you don't see. And if you don't do anything, then there's no problem. So you have good intention and you zip it up and she's unhappy. She was unhappy and then you pull it back down, she was still unhappy. So for a lot of things, you should be unhindered. You unobstructed, which means you don't care. Don't worry. Don't care for anything. Then you have no problem. So even when you see those two boobs, no big deal. It's just skin and flesh. And okay, the flesh may be something different. Maybe some globs growing on it, but it's like so two globs growing on a flesh, and maybe that parts are slightly different. The skin and the flesh are different. Rather different, but they're still made of flesh and skin. and dumplings. So if you have no heart, if you don't care, then you are unimpaired, you're unhindered, you're unobstructed. You don't care. So Buddha is teaching you this. You don't care. Wu Xin, you have no heart or no mind. So in the Buddhist Sutras, it was written, doesn't matter, compared to any offerings you make, no matter how great the merits is, it is best to make offering to a cultivator that has no mind. So this is a very important key point. So when you have no mind or no motive, or you don't care, then you would generate the immeasurable light, boundless light, unhindered light, unpaired light. So the key here is in the state of no mind. And you don't care about your body or your mind, or whether you're meditating, you don't care about your wisdom. So meditation, wisdom, precepts, giving, diligence, endurance, or patience, they're all in the state of no mind or no motives. And if you handle everything with this, in this state of no mind, then you have reached a very high state where you can be in union with the Tao. So that's why Buddha once said, what is the greatest one? The ones who is in union with the Tao is the greatest. And what can be in union with the Tao is when you have no mind, Wu Xin, no mind or no heart. When in your meditation you reach the state of no mind, all the lights of the whole universe would enter into your body. It's the same in Taoism and Buddhism. So, no Dharma is Dharma. So because you have no Dharma, that your Dharma is very high. But doesn't matter how high, there is still a limit. So there is always something above somebody, or so no matter how tall a mountain is, there's a taller mountain. Doesn't matter how high a person is, there's another person higher. But when you have no mind, the 12 lights would appear in you. And in Taoism, this would be called the primordial qi, or the innate qi. And in Buddhism, in Tantrayana, we would call it the wisdom qi. And it would also be called the boundless light, unhindered light, unpaired light. All lights would radiate. If you can stop all thoughts and empty yourself of everything, then that would be called Dzogchen.